560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen. And now,
the 3-time sexiest man in Millington, Johnny Harden.
Light me up like a fat spliff or a Christmas tree, depending on who you like to be. But I just want you to light me up because it is time for Sports 56 Happy Hour, and we're about to take you through a very happy 2 hours, give you a really nice reprieve. We're going to talk some sports. We're going to talk this day in history. Y'all know the phrase Wally pipped. Do you understand it, Mr. Gabe Kuhn?
Of course I do.
So you know about Lou Gehrig, 1925?
Yes, I know about Wally Pipp. He got replaced.
By the way, do you know that he was replaced and then Gehrig played 2,130 consecutive games, getting the nickname what? The Iron Horse. I didn't expect you actually to know that.
I was sitting there. I was like, all right.
You're like, so I'm not supposed to know this, damn it.
I'm not an MLB history guy, but anyways.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been Wally pipped in history.
Yeah, you
Look
don't
at
want to
Drew
get Wally
Bledsoe
pipped.
got nice and Wally pipped.
Oh, by the way, I actually saw today, I believe, was it ESPN that was doing that? And they did like the top 10 people who were Wally pipped by any chance. Was that today? Did you see any of that, or am I just kind of like losing my mind?
I'm not saying you're losing your mind, but I did not see any of that.
Oh, it was very interesting, and they were talking about some of the people that I thought were definitely the best Wally pipped people, and you know who one of them was? And I didn't know it. Andy Ruiz, he replaced Jarrell Miller. Did you know that?
I did know that. He was a replacement in that fight.
Knocked out Anthony Joshua. That is a very, very, very fresh Wally pipped, I would think. Don't you think? Because I know who the big fat Andy Ruiz is, gym teacher, boxer who became heavyweight champion. I know him, but do you know who, I have to look it up, Jarrell Miller is? Nope. And I bet you $1 million Anthony Joshua wish Wally Pipp showed up instead of Andy Ruiz or basically Lou Gehrig, because Jarrell Miller probably wouldn't have beat Anthony Joshua. Ruiz knocked him the bleep out. But it's 6-7-1-2-9. We're going to have a little fun today. I want you to tell me who was Lou Gehrig and who was Wally Pipp in your mind since 1925. Who has been able to pull it out? I brought out one example of Andy Ruiz just recently, Wally Pippen, Jarrell Miller, and then beating Anthony Joshua to become heavyweight champion. I think that's a big one. You heard Gabe Kuhn at G_Kuhn71, by the way. What did he bring up? Drew Bledsoe. And this also brings me right before I get to the leadoff. What would Drew Bledsoe's career realistically have been like? He would have had a couple Super Bowl rings. Playing with Bill Belichick in that defense, as good as Drew Bledsoe really was, and Adam Vinatieri, the great kicker, and all that stuff. I mean, Tom Brady would have eventually probably become Tom Brady later on, but I doubt he'd be able to hold up 6. Blang, blang. So Drew Bledsoe might have got a couple of those actually starting. He did come in there, and if you don't remember, he helped win a huge playoff game when Brady got injured. Do you remember when Brady got injured in the playoffs? Drew Bledsoe comes in, leads them, throws 187 yards and a touchdown, doesn't turn it over, and guess what? They win the AFC Championship game and go on to win the Super Bowl. So who knows? That's another great Wally Pipp. 67129. If you haven't joined the text line, I don't know why. Send 56JOIN. That's 56 join to 67129. Bing, bang, boom. You have joined. We're about to get to the leadoff. At 1:30, I have Anthony Sane. Oh, it's going to get insane up in here at 1:30. At 2 o'clock, I'm going to give you something that I call an unbelievable reprieve. I found the Twitter account of I don't even know how I found this, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where you're looking through Twitter, you're seeing a bunch of stuff that's breaking your heart, and then you come across Good Sport, and it's at Good Sport Today. It's at Good Sport Today at 2 o'clock. My man's coming on, the man behind Good Sport Today. It's taken off. It's going to take off. I can promise you that. I mean, they got, Malcolm Brogdon speaking. They got, the Coaches Association in the NBA that we're going to talk about that have basically, created a committee on basically racial injustice and reform in all the NBA cities. And they've, named Pop and Kerr and Lloyd Pierce and Dave Fizdale, Stan Van Gundy, J.B. Bickerstaff, Quinn Snyder, all to this group. They got on this Twitter, you got Lonnie Walker with a bunch of people knocking graffiti off the San Antonio walls. They just do a lot of positive things. They also focus on women's sports. And if y'all don't know who, Sky Brown is, she's like 11 years old. She's like Tony Hawk at 11. We'll talk about her. She actually got injured, almost died. Scared me to death. Have you seen the video, Gabe?
I have not.
Oh, don't look at TMZ right now or don't look at my Twitter account because I think I retweeted it. But, dude, it is scary as bleep. She's okay. Amen. We'll talk about other great women like Jennifer King, who's working for the Washington Redskins, and Ron Rivera. And we'll talk about all kinds of positive things around sports. We'll talk about the reality with Anthony Sane. And maybe in between, I kind of want to play today. Did you see Sam Acho?
He has been very outspoken, and he has been very good at portraying and getting out the message that's supposed to be getting out. We'll want to play some of that later?
I was going to say he did a thing that I don't know if I normally would have been all that, oh, this is great. And then, man, I think it was Zach who was the first person that I saw it, by the way. It's at Rack City. Zach, I was looking at his Twitter account because, Gabe Kuhn and Drew were tearing it up, and I'm checking it out on sports and everything. And I check him out, and he has it's Sam Acho. It's Emmanuel Acho he puts up there, and it's at the Man Acho. And he says, "Dear white people, for days you've asked me what you can do to help. I finally found an answer. Let your guard down and listen." And, man, he tweeted this out, and he actually, I think, has a very, very candid, casual, guard down, comfortable thing that I think a hell of a lot of people need to listen to. Now, I'd love to play Killer Mike over Acho, but the problem is Gabe over there would have to do too much work with the bleep.
Tape delay. We need a nice little delay there.
Yeah, he says the S word and the F word way too much.
But it's
for
so
us.
powerful.
But it's so powerful.
So powerful.
And you need to go watch it. But at least Sam does it in a very calm, casual way where we can easily digest it and get through it and don't have to worry about any cuss words. But again, it's something you need to hear. So please do me a favor. We are going to do one quick thing. We are going to remind you, 67129, who's been Wally pipped. I talked about this day in history. We're about to do the leadoff. We got Anthony Sane. We got the good stuff, baby. We got tweeting from, the good people. And what was that Twitter account again? I've already forgotten. I'm such a bad
Good Sport
person.
Today.
Good Sport Today. How horrible am I? How can I not remember that? Good Sport Today. It's so easy to remember that you would think it didn't need an underscore or something. But, yes, simple as that. Good Sport Today. And I think you're going to absolutely love it. Plus, Hardwood is going to be out of control fun. But before we get to all that and we get to the leadoff, I want to remind you this. Right now, the most important thing that we can do is all be one together and help each other. And while right now racism and riots and all kinds of stuff is going on in this country, we still have COVID-19. I don't care what's going on. I need you to listen to me right now because this is very important. They're actually going to come on the show either Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm talking about the head of Plasma Biologics. And the reason they are is because we need convalescent plasma. We need regular plasma. The whole entire country, we are in an emergency. I don't think people realize when I'm saying this. I got this email, and this isn't from my people. They attach me to, the CDC and other great hospitals saying there is an emergency. We are so low on plasma and blood in this country. We need these things. I need you to call 866-NCV-19. That's 866-END-CV19. That's 866-NCV-19. Please, if you're a healthy person, if you have recovered from COVID-19, or if you're just healthy, please go give your plasma. And by the way, just remember this. I know you want to probably just do your part, But know this, all donors are getting compensated and compensated fat for their time. I can promise you, you ain't making this much an hour at your job. I guarantee that, unless you're a doctor maybe. But you know what time it is? It's time for the leadoff.
Still a lot going on in the world.
You ain't
Still a lot.
lying.
But I have to ask you this. Deshaun Jackson had an idea on what they should do instead of pumped-in crowd noise. The quote is, I think they should be mic-up players. I think they should give fans insight into what really goes on between the white lines. It gets crazy. I want to ask, are you interested in this?
Actually, yes. The only problem is how are we going to put this on regular channels?
I think you'd have to have sort of two channels.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It would be like The Last Dance, how they did a normal and a naughty version. Like, in all honesty, I have to explain something. If people will just wake up and maybe not look at the name Deshaun Jackson, I think a lot of it because it's Deshaun Jackson, and they see him as a goofball from his days when he was balling in college, running amok, to his days like from up into Philadelphia, down into Tampa, and everywhere in between, just running around being a fast dude who talks a lot. But a lot of the talk that he talks about, it's never really had any like actual weight. It's just basically been chatter. Now he's actually saying something that I kind of think to myself, I would love for fans to be there. But we do still have this pandemic we're dealing with. Don't know what's going on. I know this, and it's kind of sad. I'm sure a lot of people would like to take some of the statements, especially the Big Ten. Some of their, we're watching these riots for COVID-19 to see how it spreads. How about you listen to the people that are rioting and why they're listening? Don't say, we're using this as like a test run to see how, heck, and by the way, for one of them to come out and say, if we don't have a huge spike after this, we're not going for 50%, we're going for 100% capacity. I'm like, dude, pump your damn brakes, homie. Deshaun Jackson, people in the NFL, people in college, still there are people who are taking a risk every day. Essential workers have to take these major risks. But I understand if he is saying that, hey, if we play without fans, instead of pumping in a bunch of BS, mic us up, yo. And I ain't going to lie to you. It's going to have to be on, it's definitely going to have to be on cable.
It's just, look, man, I gotta say,
put it on ABC mic'd up. Put it on maybe ABC with the normal heads talking and crowd music, and put it on that cable channel. Them just cussing each other like it's dog Sunday.
They need to be careful who they pick, man, because there will be a lot of cussing, slurs, everything else. People talk crazy stuff out on the football field. I know from experience. Yeah. You know from experience. A lot of people know from experience. I think it's funny. I think the thought is funny, but they need to be damn careful.
They got to be damn careful.
Because this could, depending on what is said, it would absolutely hurt some people's image.
No, you're 100% right. I didn't think about the image part of it either, by the way. I didn't think. Now, if you're a player, I want to ask you real quick. If you're a representative player, how bad would you be like, no, your ass ain't getting mic'd up, homie? Are you crazy?
I think a lot of people have that thought. That's my assumption.
Like, that would be how I would feel about any of my clients.
Although it's kind of similar to why people like Hard Knocks so much, because you get to see inside and see what people are talking about. So I can understand, like, the big serious football fan. Maybe you could do it separately. Maybe you could have a different stream of it where you can hear that.
I just realized something. This is the worst idea I've ever thought of, because you know why? Have you ever thought about the Shield and their image? It ain't what's going on.
Roger Goodell ain't going. Yeah. Roger Goodell is not going for this.
Their image and what is actually on the field on Sunday are two total different things. I actually now realize, dang, I need to shut up.
Hey, no, time out. It's a bad idea, but it's a fun idea.
It's a fun idea.
We can admit that.
We can admit it's a fun idea, but it's bad for business.
Now, Jeff Passan yesterday comes out. The owners are thinking about countering. The schedule, it's sort of their last-ditch effort here. Schedule around 50 games, full prorated salaries, but the full prorated salaries, 50 games is only 30% of a season, so that's 30% of their salaries. Again, a last-ditch effort. Some MLB players are refusing to play a shorter season. Do you think they have the right thought process about it?
Okay, I need to come in here with a little bit of new news because you've been on air for the last 3 hours, so you probably don't know this. Right now, according to the Players Association and MLB, they look like they're realistically going to start the season. I can't believe I'm about to tell you this, because this sounds like you would think I hadn't done any prep if I said this, but this is honest to God from Danny Abarino, who was at the session and was on the conference call with the MLB Players Association, NLB. And guess what the end of the conversation basically came to? The owners aren't willing to give in very much. Players aren't willing to give in very much. There's a hell of an impasse. But you know what they at least said? We have to have baseball or we will die. May 11th, we're going to open up our ballparks. Deadgummit start practicing. And guess what? May 11th. May 11th. That's in 10, what is it, 9 days.
You mean June 11th?
I meant June 11th.
Yeah, I was going to say May
11th. By the way, if you put the deadgum number, why don't you just put the month instead of the number? January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, May is 5, 6 is June. Sorry. But
they're opening up for practice?
They're going to open up, it says. This is what it doesn't say they're going to open up for practice. It says June 10th, they're going to have an opening day for all ballparks, meaning that June 11th, which is the day after, and I said, what, May 11th? God, don't put a number. On the 11th, they're saying that the players will have the right, a finite amount of time to get with the management to figure things out. And here's what they say. We are willing to at least start a season without the complete parameters set. Even, they're talking about this, even if they don't know how many games they're going to play in the regular season, even if they don't know when if it's going to be a prorated salary or if they're going to get percentage, it says negotiations will continue, but at least they're seeing this. Both sides said that if we don't have a season, we will basically kill the future of the sport. So seeing that at least they are realizing, like, damn, yo, we got to do something because everybody is dragging us through a mud is probably something I can tell you right now that's beautiful. And again, June is a new, it's important. July 4th is going to become even more important because on July 4th, if baseball is not played in this country, think about how big of a deal baseball, July 4th. They've got time. It's June 2nd. You got a month and a couple days, yo. You better get it together. And baseball players are realizing that, and they're willing to at least meet up, start playing the games without having the parameters. But I will have to say this one part. 30.8%, you can kiss my keister if you think that's what we're going to accept. So, while they are 20,000 miles apart, the owners and the players, they realize that if they don't play, they finally, at least somebody has come out and said this, if they don't play, they will, like I've said all week, what is it? Cut off your nose to spite your face? At least somebody in baseball has realized that if they don't play this year, and especially by July 4th, they are going to lose. And by the way, they're about third in America's game? Would you say they're third? They don't play, they won't even be an afterthought in America's game. Don't screw this up, baseball. You got one chance.
The thought that they know what is at stake gives me optimism, but at the same time, the owners don't. The owners,
by the way,
continually, they have shown that they don't want to lose any more money than they have to, and it's all about the bottom line, so I wonder how this is going to figure itself out.
By the way, just real quick, because I got another text. Somebody says, how can you not know the numbers? Look, September is my birthday, so I know 9. After September is October, so I know it's 10. November's 11, and December 12, and I know January's 1. February's 2. After that, I got to think about 3 through 9. Sorry, people.
Do you write out the month every time you write the date?
No, I always write the date, but I'm always in that month. You know what I mean? Like I'm in it. And by the way, I am in July, but I forgot I was in July.
No, you're in June.
I'm in June.
So, oh, my God.
Right, there we go.
Oh, we got to move on. Your head is spinning.
But do you know what I'm saying? I was thinking I was in May still, but it's only June 2nd.
Yeah, it's recent. It
it's
just turned over
recent,
yesterday. Now Madison Square Garden Company.
Dolan's
Your
a
best
joke.
friend owns it. He's the CEO of it, James Dolan.
Loser.
And he made a statement yesterday on behalf of the Madison Square Garden Company in regards to not making a statement on the killing of George Floyd. And this statement said, as companies in the business of sports and entertainment, we are not any more qualified than anyone else to offer our opinion on social matters. What do you think of this?
It's very simple. Trying to silence the people who work for the New York Knicks, who play for the New York Knicks, to try to silence an organization that is supposed to be representative of the people, and also to try to silence an organization that thinks, even though they stink on the court, that they matter because they're in the largest media market in the country, and then you're going to silence them because you're worried about what? Again, this speaks exactly to me what people are writing about. A person to say something like this, hey, we're just going to shut up, everybody. Wait this all out because we don't want this to hit
That's
our
the
bottom
problem.
line. That's where the privilege comes from. You have the privilege to ignore this and hope that it just dies down. And with your statement, it literally just basically strengthens I hate to say it, but it strengthens every single person who has come out and said, this is absolutely ridiculous. It has to be stopped. We have got to have people of privilege to realize their privilege and address it. We cannot continue to police people the way we are. We cannot continue down this road as a country, or we're going to continue to see problems. Instead of him coming out and making a statement in what is a progressive basketball in the heart of New York City, where COVID-19 has hit has hit the poor population and the population of color so bad it's not even funny. To see people, to the police commissioner come out and talk on television and all these things that are going on in New York, but you're such a little bleep. You are, I don't even consider you a man. You're that loser, again, who woke up on third base and thought he hit a damn triple. You got nothing downstairs, you got nothing upstairs. You got no brains and you got no brass. Go ahead and protect your cash and go ahead and kiss other people's you know what, because you will never be a man. And as long as you are in charge of the Knicks will be a failure. And that's the sad truth. And trying to stop people from expressing their opinions for your bottom line, again, is why people can't stand what New York Knicks have become. I mean, basically, why don't you just come out and say, hey, Derek Chauvin, I support the 46-year-old Minnesota native if you want to. I mean, like, hey, the George Floyd situation, COVID-19, everybody just shh. We're not going to talk about it. Is that real? Like, do you see the country we're in, homie? But anyway, why should I be surprised? He's James, starts with a D, ends with a bag, Dolan. I'll be back in 2 shakes talking with Anthony Sane on the other side. This is Sports 56, 96.1, and of course, 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Gateway Tire and Service Centers has a beautiful new state-of-the-art location at 5275 Summer Avenue. And for the entire month of June, the new location on Summer has a great Father's Day special. Buy 3 tires and get the 4th at no charge. Visit the new Gateway Tire and Service Center with 28 bays for quick service, super safe with curbside service or lounge seating 6 feet apart. Check out gatewaytireservice.com for coupons too. The new Gateway Tire and Service Center, 5275 Summer Avenue. Call Matt for details. 901-683-8335.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
Welcome back into a little bit of Sports 56 Happy Hour. Hopefully you know me by now. Johnny Radio, your good buddy Johnny Harden. And you know I always got Gabe Kuhn with me. Today we're going to talk here with Anthony Sane and 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But I want to remind y'all something from the past. And while we're going through so much present, I want to remind you in a different way. Hopefully you can take from this and maybe you'll get it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? But 10 years ago today, Jim Joyce, the call that was blown around the world and the way people reacted about this blown today. It was today.
That was
10
today,
years
Armando Galarraga.
Galarraga.
No.
And I bring it up because Anthony Sane's about to come in, talk about the past, talk about the future, talk about life, talk about hope. And I'm using a very weird story to get to Anthony because after Armando Galarraga, a lot of people say he would have had the 21st the 21st perfect game in MLB history. 2 outs in the 9th inning. The slow rollers hit between second and first. Miguel Cabrera backhands it, throws it to Galarraga. He easily gets my man out, and Joyce, for some reason, calls him safe. Well, they've gone to since that call, since that blown call, MLB has gone to replay. They would have replayed that now and found out that Galarraga easily had a perfect game. He was out by half a step. But MLB, what I'm trying to say is they made the proper steps forward. Now, Jim Joyce that night, he said it changed his life forever. He was considered one of the best he was one of the best umpires in baseball up into that point. Well, that night, baseball fans, I went back and looked at some of the tweets. You're the biggest piece of trash. You should be killed. You're so stupid. Die. There were death threats. The way they treated Jim Joyce was crazy. Jim Joyce, though, said he was a very arrogant person. He thought of himself as having this all power. And he said that being an umpire and having the power to throw out people, like people who are powerful coaches, having the power to call these guys out, he said it actually made him a little power hungry. And the reason I bring this up, because after his mistake, he said it humbled him. It's also haunted him for a decade, but it's also changed the man who he is. Ever since he blew that call, he said he's thought of himself not nearly as powerful and infallible as he once did. He knows that he can make mistakes, but he also has found humanity in others. Right after that game was over, Jim Leland came and saw him and brought him a beer and said, "It's going to be all right, Jim." Armando Galarraga, the kid who got the perfect game taken from him, smiled at him. And you know what he said? And this is just something a 28-year-old kid may just do. "Hey, Jim, it's going to be all right." And Jim could only say, could mutter a little something back in Spanish, which was, I think, lo siento or whatever, or I'm sorry. I don't even know Spanish worth a darn. But basically what I'm saying is through bad times, you can actually learn something. Jim Joyce learned something. Armando Galarraga learned something. Baseball learned something and implemented a little bit of playoff replay. I think they can still do a better job, but they tried to fix things. Hopefully you will understand maybe the line of thinking and what I was saying when I was talking about that. As I get to a very good friend of mine, Anthony Sane. What's up, Sane?
John Harden, what's going on, bro?
Man, you know I'm hanging in there in this crazy, crazy world that we in right now. But all my people, I hope y'all know who my good friend Anthony Sane is. If you don't, it's at Sane Asylum on Twitter. You can read all of his stuff. He covers the Grizzlies for Sports Illustrated, and he covers basically your city for everybody and their grandmother. And check out his podcast, The Outsiders Podcast. It is again, it's Memphis is what I'd like to say. So if you're a Mid-Southern and you understand Memphis, Maine, you'll understand his podcast, you'll understand his Twitter, and definitely check him out if you're a Grizzlies fan. But before I get to basketball, this whole new beautiful thing that I think that the NBA again being, you know what? I'm actually going to have to use the NBA to get to where I'm trying to get because I'm going to use James Dolan as the damn devil. And I don't understand him and what he's put out. But then you have the NBA and the rest of the NBA coming out with this new, basically, forum where they're going to they've elected leaders, and they basically said, "Hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to fix issues in our own city. We're going to reach out and we're going to talk to people." And they didn't just go out there and get this guy or that guy. They went out and got guys who actually have a little bit of weight. And what the NBA did, I'm extremely proud. But what James Dolan did, the leader of the Knicks, I'm so disappointed. And I just wanted to ask you right now, somebody who writes for the Grizzlies and the NBA for Sports Illustrated, when you look at the two messages, are you confused as I am? And are you just as disappointed and broken as I am?
I'm not. I'll say I'm not surprised by what the statement that came out from Dolan.
Oh, really?
Just kind of, he's got a history of just doing things that just don't make sense. Period. So,
yep.
As far as race relations, I'm not surprised to hear that at all. But on the other end of the spectrum, the home team, the Grizzlies, put out a great statement yesterday. Just reminding people of things that they have been doing and they'll continue to do. And I was really impressed that they said that they want people to get out and vote, and that they want. They're allowing their staff to have paid time off to go vote in any election that comes going forward. I just think that was a strong statement by the Grizzlies. And as far as the NBA Coaches Association coming together, I think that's impressive as well. I tip my hat to the NBA the way they go about doing things, and I just look forward to see what they have in store. Is these crazy times just continue to go.
But isn't it a little bit like, isn't it confusing though when you have an association who is standing behind? I mean, you got Malcolm Brogdon who's out in the streets. You've got all these guys who are out there with all these people, but then. And again, they put. I mean, obviously James Dolan ain't a part of this, obviously. But how can you be? I mean, how can you run the New York Knicks where all this protest? I know what happened in Minneapolis, but you have COVID-19 that's destroyed so many poor people and people of color in that city. You have such a representative, right? I mean, like you have your Madison Square Gardens, man. That's that's basically like NBA cherished ground, but then you have a guy like him coming out and representing it. It taints something that it should be sacred, but it almost gives that whole organization just an ugly, ugly look.
Yeah, it was a terrible thing to say in spite of everything that's going on right now. Like I said, man, I mean, I'm not surprised. Not specifically because of him, but just not surprised by how wicked anybody's heart can be, man. Like, stuff I see nowadays, nothing really surprised me. Like the picture that came out yesterday of the guy with his child sitting across his shoulder with riot cops or whatever with cannons pointing to his face. Who's really surprised at this point is the stuff you'll see, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Now, did you see the list of the coaches that were on this bad boy? By the way.
Yeah, it was a good list of coaches. Former Grizzlies assistant coach Lloyd Pierce.
I was going to say, we got a few Grizz up in there. Bickerstaff, Pierce,
Fizdale.
Yeah, Fizz is up in there too. I like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure Atlanta Hollins is a part of it. They said that a lot of assistant coaches are part of it as well. I'm sure Atlanta Hollins is part of it too. So.
I like to see that. And again, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you before we get back into a NBA play and what the Grizzlies. Friday night, I was down there at the Civil Rights Museum. I was so impressed. I was proud of Memphis. Memphis did everything. The protesters were peaceful as all get out. The cops were peaceful as all get out. It was great. Saturday night, more of the same. What the hell happened on Sunday? Because it sure wasn't the people that I was hanging out with Friday and Saturday. And why is it that you think basically Sunday night into Monday happened?
Well, I'll just say this. I've put this on my Twitter account as well. If the police would actually do their job and protect the protesters' right to protest, all this stuff that you're saying anywhere in the country really wouldn't be happening. Because all these people want to do is be heard. They just want their voice to be heard. They want to say what they have to say, get off their chest, and give their list of demands and try to create some conversation, get conversation going between those that are protesting and those that they have an issue with. And the stuff that you're saying is just police officers not knowing how to handle it. If you just sit back and let those people say what they have to say, their protests are coming out peaceful. But when the police are doing things that are weird, doing things that are crazy, doing things that are violent towards the protesters, that's when you see that retaliation. And that was the case of what we saw in Memphis. And actually people who had to protest, was it Sunday night? Yep. Those guys were gone. They left the protest, and they were just people just out on Bill Street, and the police just the police just did their thing, and the rest is what we saw.
And I was going to say, and the thing that also breaks my heart though, and I hate to give weight to any of this because I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I have a brother who's a firefighter. My brother was supposed to be off. He gets called in on Sunday, and they say that, they have information that so-and-so is coming in town to try to take over the bridges. You know what I mean? So, again, it feels like it wasn't Memphis. You listen to Killer Mike down there in Atlanta. You listen to the mayor of Atlanta talk about this stuff. And, again, I just don't understand why it is that people, like at least some people that I see don't understand that if there's a problem with force, you can't address issues with force by force. Or am I just crazy?
Yeah, like I said, if you just let these people say what they have to say, man, just give them their voice. Because when things first got started last week, people were just outside talking. They weren't doing anything violent towards anybody. And then the police is just the way the police go about doing things. It just frustrates people, and it just sets people off. And if the police would let these people know, hey, we hear you guys, we respect you guys, we're here to protect you, I think a lot of issues you see across the country wouldn't happen.
Man, I can't say it any better than my man Anthony Sane. I got to tell you, if you want to go see some serious stuff, go to my man Sane It's at Sane Asylum. Check him out. I've retweeted it. My man Gabe Coons retweeted it. You will absolutely dig it. I can promise you one thing. Sane doesn't hold it. You don't hold back, do you?
No, not at all.
Now, before I get into the other things, MLB, in my opinion, I don't even know if you pay any attention to this, but when you cover the NBA and if you take a glance over at the MLB, do you feel like there's almost like a complete loss of like, do they understand? Like, do you look at them and say, damn, do they realize there's like a pandemic and like the country's burning right now and y'all are fighting over millions of dollars? Like, y'all might want to take that like somewhere else private. Like, do you look over there and think they've lost their mind?
Well, first of all, John, you know I haven't taken a look at anything that has to do with Major League Baseball. So I don't know why you even taking me here with you, but I have. In my, I do cut AM radio on sometimes when I'm driving in my car at night. So I have heard discussions about Major League Baseball and their labor relations or whatever, which I think is ridiculous, and especially in the times we have going on now with all the social justice stuff as well as the pandemic as well. That baseball can't figure out how to be America's pastime, so they say.
Yeah, and be there like, July 4th would probably be a good time to maybe have some games going on, try to get people's mind off of other things instead of fighting over.
A game that's probably the easiest to social distance, where there's little one-to-one contact is right, and they're making it the hardest one. But baseball should be going on right now, if you really think about it. But they've constantly dropped the ball, whether it be not wanting to adjust the game rules to modern-day television, modern-day viewers, not shortening the season, just it's several things over the years that people have pretty much begged for to make Major League Baseball better, and they just haven't.
I don't even think you realize how powerful a statement you just said. You just said something that I don't even know if it's flown over. I know I'm a baseball junkie. It's flown over my head. The sport that is easiest to social distance. You got a center fielder who's 150 feet away from his left or right fielder. In the infield, you got a first, second, a shortstop, and a third baseman. They're not even 90 feet from each other. The pitcher's 60 feet, 6 inches from the catcher. The closest contact is the man in the batter's box and the hitter. I'm sorry. The easiest game to social distance has become the hardest game to get back on the field, and it's basically all because of greed and fighting over money. Great point by Anthony Sane. Now, I got to ask you straight up. How bad do you believe the Grizzlies are getting screwed, or do you believe the Grizzlies are getting screwed?
I'll be honest with you, bro. I see both sides of it. I see what the NBA is doing. They're trying to get as many eye-catching teams as possible into this complex in Orlando. On the other end, I think it's pretty stupid. You look at guys like, and they're obviously trying to get Zion Williamson on TV to at least get an opportunity to get into the playoffs or just to get him on TV again, period. And Michael Jordan didn't go to the playoffs his rookie season. Brian James didn't go to the playoffs his rookie season. A lot of guys over time. Shaquille O'Neal didn't go to the playoffs his rookie season. A lot of guys, some of the greats you've ever seen, they didn't go. So it's almost like the NBA is trying to pave a way to get Zion to the playoffs. But it's on the Grizzlies, man. I think they're a team. They're just going to have to do what they have to do if they want to go to the playoffs. I believe that if there is a play-in situation, which it does look like that's the direction they're going.
Hey, it looks like they're going to go with 22, right? I know some teams are pushing for all 30. A lot of people want just 16. But right now, it looks like they're, from everything I'm reading, and you do a lot more on the NBA than me, does it look like they're going to take 22 teams down there?
Yeah, it looks like 22 is what it's going to be with the original 4 teams that you heard with the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Kings, and the Trailblazers, plus the additions of the Phoenix Suns and the Washington Wizards is what it seems like the proposed teams are going to be. But the Grizzlies just have to get it done, man. We interviewed Taylor Jenkins pretty early during this pandemic, and he said that, he thinks his team's going to be ready. He thinks the addition of getting guys back like Jaren, Brandon Clark, Justice Winslow, those type of things, adding those guys. And plus, these guys are the guys who, they're kind of crazy, man. Like, nobody can tell those guys that they're not ready for anything, or they're somewhere they're not supposed to be. They've been playing over their heads the whole season, and that could be a dangerous situation come playoff time.
Well, I've already told people to follow you on your Twitter account, but if you're just a Grizzlies person, the Sports Illustrated, it's at All Grizzlies. And I mean, heck, just in the last hour, you dropped the Washington Bullets legend Wes Unseld passed away at 74. You got the Memphis Grizzlies, Brevin Knight. He sent out, and I know you're talking about the tweet he sent out. Was it this morning or last night?
Mm-hmm.
I retweeted. It was last night. I retweeted it this morning. He's put an article out about that. You also got, heck, this is in the last 18 hours. Memphis police officers are grateful for the unexpected payments received from a Grizzlies owner, Robert Parra, during COVID-19. You got, again, former Memphis Grizzlies assistants coaching leads against the charge for NBA coach against racism and justice. So if you care about the Grizzlies and what's going on with them, check out, of course, my man, at Sane Asylum, but don't forget at All Grizzlies. That is straight up All Grizzlies, Sports Illustrated channel, basically balling out, and my man Anthony's writing all that stuff. So realistically, check it out. And again, if you want to know what's going down in Memphis, check out Sane Asylum because he holds nothing back. And don't forget the Outsider podcast. Now, Sane, before I say goodbye, because I could talk to you all daggum day, did you by any chance, realistically, catch any of Sam Acho's conversation at all towards white people at all by any chance? I retweeted that John out. I know I didn't tell you.
No, I have to check that out, though. I have no clue what you're talking about, but I have to check it out.
Check that out because I think me and you could have a fun conversation. I want you to tell me if that's really, really good, if he did a great job. I think he did a good job. I'm pretty interested. But it's Emmanuel Acho. And it says, "Dear white people, for days you've asked me what you can do to help. I finally found an answer." And he goes on and basically like a mailbag, pulls out all the questions, answers them for about 10 minutes, and he says he's going to continue to do this. Do you think this is a way, possibly, to actually get change? Or is it going to take so much more? And do you think by the end of this that things are going to go back to normal, or people are sick and tired and we're actually going to get change at the end?
Man, I hate to be pessimistic, man, but stuff has been like this for years on top of years, and I won't go into history lessons, but it goes before slavery.
Sure
like
does.
Everybody likes to point things to slavery as being, when everything went down. I'm not here to teach a history lesson. I'll let people go research their own history as far as that goes. But it's been there for so long, man. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't seem to be getting any better at all. People are bolder. Social media allows people to just be idiots, in the public forum with no regard for what anyone says, what anyone might think. So people don't hide anymore. They're not hiding behind sheets. They're not hiding behind masks. They just say what they want to say behind their phones and behind their computers. So I don't see how it gets any better, man. I mean, I hate to be pessimistic about it, but it's just as a black man who's lived 40 years in the South, man, this has been my whole life. I've seen this forever. You know what I mean? When people talk about fear, like, I work DoorDash part-time delivering food. I'm much more terrified going into the rich houses in East Memphis, Germantown, Olive Branch, South Haven. I'm much more concerned about going there than going to the hood at night. You know what I mean? I'm more worried going to the suburbs than I am going into like rough neighborhood. You know what I mean? So that's real life, bro. Like I don't go to Germantown at all for nothing.
No, I mean, hey, listen to me. And again, I can't speak on the way that you are, but heck, I even tweeted out earlier, just who I am. I'm not afraid. I'm afraid, but I said, I'm not afraid of anything, but I will tell you one thing I'm scared of: the cops. If I get pulled over, I'm scared to death. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I'm like, oh, damn. And again, I'm also white, so I can only imagine what my friends and my people of color out there what it feels like to actually be pulled over by somebody, because ain't nothing in the world that's going to scare you more than those blue lights, is it?
No, yeah, you ain't never lied.
Hey, Sane, do me a favor. Continue to be you. Keep rocking. And, man, I'm telling you, if you are a Grizzlies fan, check out All Grizzlies. And don't forget Sane Asylum. That's at Sane Asylum on Twitter. Anthony, we'll do this again, my man.
Oh, yeah, much love, bro.
Much love. That's my friend Anthony Sane. Check him out. We'll be back in 2 shakes. And always remember, we don't get to have these conversations without our great sponsors. Thank you, Chad Gatlin at MemphisFarmers.com. This is Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
Ah, the copperhead snake. It hisses before attacking. But that's not a copperhead. That's the Sullivan's RV freshwater tank overflowing into their black one, which is backing into their vent pipe, making for a very different kind of attack. One that arrives just in time for taco night. It's wild out there. When it gets too wild, Progressive has your RV covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Great news, sports fans! The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of hand-cut fresh steaks, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Father's Day is coming soon, so make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here!
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man.
I'm your pusher man. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour. Y'all know Johnny Radio. Y'all know Gabe Kuhn. And y'all know me. And a big shout out to my good friend Anthony Sane. Came on, always kept it, straight up just keeps it real. Now, don't forget, for all my Grizzlies people out there who are just right now thinking about sports, it's very simple. At all Grizzlies, anything you can think Grizzlies, they got it. Yes, it looks like they ain't going to do 30, but it looks like they're going to go 22. Grizzlies are going to have to fight their way to get in that playoffs. And you know what? I'm not going to give up on them. I think they're going to do it. So we're going to sit back there, relax, and we're going to pray for them. Now, I will also say, I want to remind you at 2 o'clock, the reprieve will come because we're about to get into positive stories, great stories, things that are going to make you happy, make you cry, just of love and all kinds of good stuff. But before we get there, I want to play something I've been talking about all day, just a little piece of it. And it's Sam Acho. You remember him? He played at Texas. This
is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel
They're brothers,
Acho.
though. They're brothers,
wait.
Though.
Whoa.
Sam and Emmanuel.
There's 2 of them?
Yeah, there's 2 Achos. Yes.
Do you know I never knew that? That's kind of sad.
Now you know, man. You learn something new every day.
I was like,
hey, life is about growing and learning, and I think our country is doing that as we speak.
We are learning a lot. But no, Emmanuel Acho, he came out, and Gabe, sorry, he blew my mind. But he's going to play just a little bit. And I want you just to open up your mind and listen.
Welcome to the first of hopefully many episodes of Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man. In the midst of all this chaos in our world, so many of y'all have reached out to me, and by y'all, I mean white people. have reached out to me asking, how can I help? How can I join in? How can I stand with you? So I've created this for you. Because in order to stand with us and people that look like me, you have to be educated on issues that pertain to me and fully educated so that you can feel the full level of pain, so that you can have full understanding. I fervently believe that if the white person is your problem, only the white person can be your solution. And so this is made for you, my white brothers and sisters, to increase your level of understanding so that you can increase your level of compassion and lead ultimately to change. So consider this a safe space to answer so many questions that I've seen from y'all. The first question I've seen a lot of, Emmanuel, why are y'all rioting? I understand protesting, but why riot? And to that I submit this. MLK said that rioting is the language of the unheard. For years, black people have tried peacefully protesting, going back to 1965 and before with the Selma March, and that didn't work. And then in 2016, Colin Kaepernick, he took a knee, and that agenda got moved to a flag, which was never the goal. He just wanted to raise awareness on social injustice. So that didn't work. And so now we've seen riots because black people and hurt people are trying to get the attention of the oppressor. They're trying to raise awareness of the oppression. I was biking around Lake Austin the other day, and there was a white girl about 15 meters ahead of me. And as I'm on my bike, I say to her, on your left, because I want to notify her I'm coming so that she can change her course of action. I get 10 meters away and I increase my voice, on your left, because she had yet to move. I get 5 meters away and she's still there, and I say, on your left, because I realize if she doesn't change her course of action, there will be a collision. And as I approach her, I yell, on your left, and we collide. My goal was never to hit her, but because she had her headphones in, she didn't hear me, and so she didn't change her course of action. I believe that that's the same thing black people are doing now. 1960s, we're yelling, we're oppressed. But the course of action wasn't changed. And so we again yell, we're oppressed, but the course of action wasn't changed. And so again we yell, we're oppressed. And now you see the collision that's occurred in America.
And I'll tell you one thing, and that's what I want y'all to go check out, Emmanuel Acho, and understand that you have to listen to people. And again, I don't know how many people go to the podcast, but if you go back, you'll hear last Wednesday or Thursday me talking about it. I was a person who had the earbuds in his ears, and I was focused on other things. Again, I also have, I have a little grandson that's black. I have, Jews and Muslims and Christians in my family. I never, I just thought the world was a better place. Obama was president. You know what happened? The people that I hung around, the people I hung around with, I just thought that was, representative of the world that we lived in. And then unfortunately I saw Ahmaud Arbery. And then, to see George Floyd and that happen, it broke me into so many pieces like I couldn't even explain, because I didn't even think in 2020 you could literally kill somebody on TV with your hand in your pocket and look at the damn camera with just such a smirk. And again, we have power of the pen, and we have been telling history of people, but power of the pen only goes so far. It's amazing what the power of video has done. Without the power of video, Ahmaud Arbery, he may never see justice. Without the power of video, George Floyd, he would just be another number to another person who died in the hands of police custody. This country will change thanks to the power of video. Camera phone has changed the world. Told you can choke on sawdust when it's dark outside. You can't see it, but you can't breathe. And that's kind of like America. Now that we can see what we were choking on, we can now fix it. On the other side, we're going to talk about the good stuff. Whatever you do, don't touch that dial. Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
If spending more time at home has been hard on your floor, it's not that hard to change it with the Home Depot. Use our square foot calculator to figure out how much you need. Order the exact style you want online, get it delivered, and install it with a little help from our how-to videos. Make your flooring waterproof, scratch-proof, and ready for the years ahead. Save on top flooring brands like LifeProof and Pergo on HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. On AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here. Ladies and gentlemen, and now,
the only man to give death a near Johnny experience, Johnny Harden.
Hello, hello, and welcome into Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm glad to talk to you. I am Johnny Radio, and I'll tell you one thing. World might be as crazy as all get out, but I got something that's going to make you smile. If you're down and you're depressed, don't be no more. My man, Paul Bremer is going to join us, but he has a website that I'm going to tell you right now. It's at Good Sport Today. It's at Good Sport Today, and we need good sports. We need great news. We need smiles. We need laughs. We need everything. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to find out a lot about people that are, changing the world. Find out a lot about also women in sports. We'll talk, I'm sure, about, people like, the little young lady who's 11 years old and she's the next Tony Hawk, Miss Sky Brown. I'm sure we'll talk about, like Jennifer King. There's all kinds of people out there who are doing great things in sports, but there's also a lot of stuff at Good Sport Today. Please check it out as we talk with Paul at Good Sport Today. This is going to be fun. I mean, on his Twitter account, he's got Jordan Sancho, where he pulls off his shirt and it shows, social justice for George Floyd. You got Malcolm Brogdon on there. He's got the whole NBA Coaches Association article by the Bleacher Report that, talks about Pop and Kerr and Dave Fizdale and J.B. Bickerstaff and Stan Van Gundy and Lloyd Pierce and Quinn Snyder, et cetera, et cetera. He's got everything on that bad boy. And it looks like, in my opinion, when I checked this out and I reached out and I wanted to interview him, I was like, man, with all this stuff going on today, we need something positive and we need something good. And we need something that also celebrates women and girls in sport. And I feel like Paul has found that. So I brought him on today. Paul, how's life treating you, brother?
I'm doing well, Johnny. Thanks so much for having me, and I appreciate the sentiments. And first of all, sending along best wishes to all those who are suffering right now in America. It's a very weird time, and one of our favorite quotes at Good Sport is Nelson Mandela's famous quote that sport has the power to change the world. And boy, do I hope that's true right now.
Man, do we ever hope that is true. And by the way, I love that. That was a great quote by Nelson Mandela. And of course, I should know that Paul is always going to have something wonderful. But I got to ask you, Paul, how did you, before we get into everything about this, the website one, I don't even think I mentioned the website. I just talked to you about the Twitter, but the website's goodsport.me, correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
In the website, check that bad boy out. It's very, very important. It's celebrating women and girls in sports. It's got all kinds of news. You can put your email in there. They'll send you a newsletter. I've put mine in there. It's great. They partnership with all the people all over the country. They got featured stories. They got stuff. It's just, you'll enjoy it. Trust me. But again, though, for the people who, I'm talking to a lot, we're, a lot of people that listen to this are Twitter junkies. People hit me on the Twitter account all the time. They hit us, on the text line and stuff. But at Good Sport Today on Twitter, you can find his website there. But at Good Sport Today, you can actually go there, see what's going on in the world, but also in a positive light. It talks about what's going on with the protest, but it has, Malcolm Brogdon out there, quoting Dr. King and about his grandfather. Again, you talk about the NBA coaches and how they're, setting up a committee on racial injustice and reform to help the NBA cities, to help create change. You go out there and the Lonnie Walker, that's one of my favorite pieces that I saw. Not many people know much about Lonnie Walker. But seeing him down in San Antonio knocking graffiti off the building, helping people after the protesters came through his city, and just the things that they're out there doing. The David Price paying $1,000 a month. Again, whenever I'm depressed, I have found myself going to Good Sports Today, and it's just like sometimes I need a damn break. And I'm telling you, man, y'all have been able to do that, and I just want to say thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you for that. And it's been an interesting few years. We started the company about 4 years ago with a pretty, a simple mission. We just wanted to be the first company dedicated to positive sports programming. I think a lot of media companies do a pretty good job, but people are much more apt to jump at the next scandal in sports, and it gets a lot more attention. And even people debating, parsing Michael Jordan's words lately. But what we decided to do was kind of be the icing without having to make the whole cake. And we have partnered with 20 or so nonprofits over the years. We do great content for the Boomer Esiason Foundation and the work that they do with cystic fibrosis. We've worked with Wounded Warrior Project and many others. And it just, I think sports is a place that should be positive. It's a place that should be influential in a good way. And that's what we're here to do. That's what we're trying to do anyway.
And I'm telling you, I've done a great job. And now you brought up, now I just want to know, again, how did you get in, how is it that did you find this medium? What was it that you decided that, you know what, we need to celebrate the positive. We need to celebrate women and girls in sports. I talked a little bit earlier to some people that there's this young lady, Sky Brown. She's like the next Tony Hawk, but she scared the bejeebies out of me and almost killed herself, it seemed like yesterday. Had a horrible accident, let everybody know she is in the hospital. She's okay. She still has such a positive little outlook, even though she's got this huge black eye and she's in a hospital. But I mean, she landed, I think, I don't even know the number, like the first 1,200 or 16, whatever. She like broke Tony Hawk's record when she was a kid. She's awesome, but she did injure herself. Again, then there's other people out there, and especially Memphians. They know a lot of people, but you got then my man over in Ron Rivera. He's kind of kept Jennifer. It seems like in his fold, and she's part of his. She's part of the team. I mean, Jennifer King. She's coaching, and I don't know how Ron Rivera figured this out, because it feels like he was the first person to do this, but he wasn't afraid that because she was a woman, I can't bring her to help my football team. And man, next thing you know, she's a full-time coach. She's not an intern anymore for Carolina.
Absolutely. We're actually doing an interview with Jennifer King tomorrow, so I'm
are you really?
On the other side of I'm going to be on the other side of it. So what's really cool, Johnny, is when we started this company 4 years ago, we had that goal, and about 2 years ago, we noticed, and we did some really fun stuff along the way. We do a weekly show for the NBA G League. We had a great piece on the Memphis Hustle, by the way.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, great team, great logo. So about 2 years ago, we noticed inside this sort of insular sports world that there was really something missing, and that was attention to women's sports. So, and we felt like it was grossly underserved. Only 4% of sports media coverage is dedicated to women's sports. And I'm not saying, Johnny, that it should be 40, because I think we know what the ratings are, and people go to the shiny objects. But we were just floored by that number, and I'm pleased to say that with the relaunch of GoodSport.me on Mother's Day this year, we have gotten to the point where we are, I think, probably the largest content library of women's sports content. So our goals are pretty simple. We're trying to raise the visibility of women and girls in sports. We're trying to drive participation, and we're trying to leverage mainstream fans who are interested in stories like Jennifer King that you just mentioned. Now,
by the way, I almost feel horrible because I constantly think of, I didn't know you were interviewing Jennifer King. I better make sure you know this, because, I mean, Jennifer started out with Carolina, but didn't she leave and go with Ron Rivera to the Washington? I mean, and the reason I think of Jennifer King so much is because she helped Christian McCaffrey, who was basically the best back in, football last year, and he gave her so much love, calling her the Jet and talking about, she's the real deal. She helped me. She, you don't play with her because she's about getting you better. Her IQ of the game was, off the charts. And that she literally, like Christian McCaffrey, his words were, she's one of those people that the one thing she cared about was not my background, not anything about me, but making me a better person and a better football player every day in and out. I mean, when you're Christian McCaffrey and you're that good of what is he, like probably the best running back in football right now, at least up there in the top, the discussion. He's up there with Saquon Barkley. He's up there with, the Zeke Elliott's. I mean, this guy can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run it between the tackles. He can do everything. But he gives a lot of his, he was great in college and everything. But he says Jennifer King helped him a lot. And I think a lot of people forget about that. And now I believe she's leaving. Is she leaving Carolina to go with Ron Rivera to, is she going to Washington? She did?
She is in Washington, my hometown team. And I'll bring this full circle. Hopefully she can do the same thing with Antonio Gibson, who I didn't know much about. But maybe you can tell me a little bit about, because people are starting to compare him to Christian McCaffrey a little bit.
Well, we love him here in Memphis. My man Gabe Kuhn blocked for him, I believe, and he's my producer. And I'll tell you one thing. Gibson can do everything in the backfield, kind of like McCaffrey. He can literally catch the ball. He's got hands as soft as anything you've ever seen. But the thing is, like Christian McCaffrey, he can run a perfect route, but he can also get back there, run a power eye if you need to, go right between the tackles. He can do whatever you want. Plus, the other thing is a lot of people don't talk about, he picks up the block. I mean, a linebacker, a defensive end, not just chipping. If he is told to stay in and block, my man will light you up like a Christmas tree. So I think you're going to enjoy Antonio Gibson. Ask Jennifer King about him tomorrow, and get back to me and let me know what she says.
Certainly will. Certainly will. If you don't mind, I'd love to just tell you a little bit more about what we're doing, especially around women's sports. Yeah.
Talk to me.
So the challenge, again, I mentioned 4% of sports media coverage being tied to women's sports, and people might shrug their shoulders and say, okay, well, sounds about right, or that number doesn't really mean anything to me. But I think a lot of the conversation recently, and especially in the last few days, has really been about how do we make wholesale changes societally. And one of the things that I think has been important post Me Too and post Time's Up and those type of movements is really a talk about having an honest conversation about women and how we can promote them in the workplace and just generally as a society honor them and empower them in ways that they hadn't been before. And one of the things that we have zeroed in on is that girls drop out of sports at twice the rate of boys in their adolescent years. Okay, so that's a huge fall
when
off.
you say twice the rate, what is the average rate that you said that you fall off? Is that like 13, 14? I'm just trying to understand what's the average.
Exactly.
About that, 13,
it's sort
14?
It's exactly that. It's sort of like early adolescence, and there are a number of factors there, but one of the largest factors, and this is according to the Women's Sports Foundation research, is the lack of role models.
Oh.
So if we're not helping raise the visibility of women in sports, who do they have to look to? And sports has an amazing influence on confidence, on body image, cooperation. You know, we always say that leaders on the field are leaders in life.
True that.
And, you know, you work in sports and you're surrounded by people in sports. And the last stat that I'll throw at you is that 94% of female C-level executives played sports.
What?
So if we're really trying to help in the boardroom and equality across the board in society, sports is a pretty interesting cross thread there that we need to explore.
I'm sorry.
So that's why we're doing it.
Paul, I have to interrupt you. I want people to wake up and let that sink in. And so, you know, when, you know, 13, 14-year-old daughters, like, you know, I'm going to focus on my boys or TikTok or whatever on Twitter, listen to what you just said. 94% of women are what? That are what'd you say?
94% of female C-suite executives, C-level executives, CEOs, CFOs, COOs, played sports, according to Ernst & Young. So if we're trying to change it there, we got to change it here, if you know what I'm saying.
Wow. That's impressive, and that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, to be, you know, corporate executive, chief financial officer, to be the head of, these corporations, you need to understand leadership. And man, there's nothing that can teach you and prepare you more for, life. For the down times, for the good times, for how to deal with good things and bad things. Sports do that, and the fact that you said 94 of your C-level employees played sports, of women, that is just also fascinating to me. Makes tons of sense. Paul, what else you got for me? This is fascinating.
Well, going back to mainstream sports for a second, the NFL, for instance, which is the biggest game in town for the U.S. audience, I think their own identified numbers, 48% of their fans are women. But if you sat down and watched a football game on a Sunday, you're not seeing commercials that are relating to women. You're not seeing content that are relating to women. You mentioned Jennifer King. On the homepage of goodsport.me right now, we have an article, a video on Jen Welter, who was really the first female coach in the NFL when she was hired by the Arizona Cardinals. And now she goes around the country with her Gridiron Girls camps and teaches girls how to play football. So there are 11, I think, NBA coaches now that are women. A couple of years ago, everybody talked about Becky Hammon. She was the only one. So our point is leveraging mainstream interest. Jess Mendoza's done a really good job with this in the broadcast booth with ESPN and other places. There are a lot of really great stories that leverage mainstream fans as well, and women are starting to make their way into that world. And that doesn't even factor in esports, which I could go long on, but I'm not sure if your audience would be interested in that.
Well, I will tell you, Miss Ivy, with everything that she's done and the fact that she's, heading to Notre Dame, everybody in Memphis knows her with her time with the Grizzlies, etc.
Yep.
But I will tell you one thing. I have to say that it seems like things in this world are changing. Women are taking that next step. And I'm glad that somebody finally actually opened up something. And it's very simple. It's goodsport.me. And then don't forget everybody at Good Sport Today, Paul's got everything. It's literally, it's one of those Twitter accounts that if you're having a bad day, it doesn't do anything but make you feel a million times better. And then again, if you want to learn something from Malcolm Brogdon to the NBA Coaches Association to the ladies in sports to what's going on, if you want to hear, Lauren Cox talk with the Indiana Fever, if you want to hear, what's the young girl? Naomi Osaka. See, I'm a sports guy.
No, Naomi Osaka, yeah.
Yeah,
she just became the highest paid female athlete in the world.
What? I didn't know that. She's now the highest paid female athlete in the world?
She just passed Serena, yeah.
Wow. I was going to say she's just an up-and-comer who's taking the torch from Serena, it looks like. So I just got to say one thing. It is so fascinating. I'm proud of everything you're doing. Keep it up, and we're going to do this again, I promise.
That's great. I appreciate it, Johnny. And I'll just leave you with this. You mentioned Sky Brown a couple of times, the 11-year-old skateboarder who had a horrific accident. If you watch that whole Instagram video, which is hard at the beginning, at the end, she's lying in her hospital bed, and she's addressing this moment that we're in, and she says, whatever we do, we're going to do it with love and happiness. And I was just floored to the awareness of a young girl like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, she's got a black eye. She's in a hospital bed. She just had a horrific accident. But again, she's 11 years old, and she's got a heart of gold, doesn't she?
She absolutely does.
Hey, my man, you have a heart of gold. I love at Good Sports Today. And check out the goodsports.me website. You keep on rocking, and we'll talk down the road, brother.
Appreciate your time, Johnny. Have a good day.
Thank you, Paul. Now, we got to be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail because I got to tell you a little secret about what's going on. But before I do, I got to remind you, that's right, MemphisFarmers.com. It's MemphisFarmers.com. His name is Chad Gatlin. You go to MemphisFarmers.com, you're going to realize a whole lot. Yes, he can do auto. Yes, he can do life. Yes, he can do it all. But right now, we got 41 million people unemployed. Do you realize that? 41 million people. And do you know how many people out there have their life insurance through their work? Well, right now something happens, God forbid. How are you going to have that steady footing for your family, for your children, for your wife, for your significant other? I don't know how you are. That's why you have to be like me and everybody that I tell. I have one through work. Hopefully I get knocked off while I'm working someday. You know what I'm saying? But God forbid I get laid off and then I pass. Do I want my life, the people that I love the most to not only have to deal with my loss, the tragedy of my loss, but then have to deal with the tragedy of my finances? Hell no, I don't. I wanted to give them good footing. Call Chad Gatlin. Serious as a heart attack. If you give him a call at 901-235-1176, he will talk to you about what is so important in this world, and that is making sure that your loved ones have that steady footing so that, like, God forbid something happen to you, you can rest easy. They're going to be okay. Check out MemphisFarmers.com. Give Chad a call at 901-235-1176, and never, ever, ever touch that dial. Sports 56, Hardwood's next, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted, animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
wonder what a Blizzard treat on the new DQ Summer Blizzard menu sounds like? New Oreo cheesecake is Dad's DIY slip and slide. S'mores is a backyard campfire under the stars. And new Frosted Animal Cookie is a family band jam. Sounds like summer to me. The new DQ Summer Blizzard menu with more new flavors than ever. DQ, happy tastes good.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Ray.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Yo, 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 welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. Y'all know who I am, I hope. Johnny Radio. And by the way, I hope y'all also know this. I try my best to spit it as straight as I can, but I can only do one thing. I can only spit it. You got to listen if you know what I'm saying. And for a lot of those people in the text lines and hitting up my phones, I've never condoned anything that is wrong. 41 million people are out of jobs right now. People are struggling. I talked about how much pain seeing that guy who put everything in that sports bar and looters, busted out all the windows and destroyed his dreams again. That breaks my heart, and I feel that poor man's pain. But again, I just ask all of you, why is this happening? Don't always, listen to Killer Mike. Listen to the mayor of Atlanta. Look at really what's going on, but not just look at what's going on, and look at the underlining issue. And if you can honestly watch Derek Chauvin, and I think that's his name, with his hand in his pocket, staring at the camera like it's nothing, with a knee on a man's neck for 9 minutes and just take his life, and if you can watch the Ahmaud Arbery and say, well, I can see how it's justified, if you really can do those things, then you might not need to listen. And that breaks my heart, because then that means I can't reach you or help you because you're not open to just seeing the truth. The truth does hurt. And the truth is we all have to be better. And I mean every damn one of us. And we got a long road to go, but I will tell you this. I believe so much in all of you, and I believe in all the good people, and I believe in my brothers and my sisters and my friends and my family, and I just believe in this younger generation. I believe that everybody's going to come through this, and we're not going to just be stronger for this. We're going to be we're going to be a country where 20 years from now, I hope we look back at this and wonder how it is that a man could get killed in the middle of the street in broad daylight and videotaped and nobody jump in and do something. That's what I'm telling you. 20 years, we're going to look back on this. We will never be the same. I truly, truly believe that. So for anybody, if you're upset about something, maybe pick up a book. You got a lot of time, I'm sure. Do a little bit of reading. It's called History. Check it out. Now, let's do me a big favor. Let's get our tail over to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Holy guacamole! Now, I got to say this. Sky, I mentioned her. I was talking about her during the toilet flush, the great toilet flush of 2020. By the way, I'm not talking about the Supreme Court justice. And by the way, just so you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you were listening during last segment, I was talking to my friend Paul, and that dude is a super good dude. But I just got to call it as it is. I think he called me in the middle of a deuce.
I really hope not, man.
Like not a Uno.
I heard the flush.
But, dude, there was
I
a
didn't want to
flush.
make a comment, but the text line blew up, and rightfully so.
Dude, I had to keep every bit of myself calm. Like, I was pinching the bleep out of my leg just so I wouldn't laugh. Like, as hard as I could. My leg's bleeding over here. I mean, like, I was, like, trying to be professional, and now I can cut the first segment and send to them. But that was the – if y'all listen, you know, and if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, the great flush of 2020 – the Supreme Court, because of COVID-19, did like a month where they were listening to arguments, and they were listening to them via the Zoom and the telephone. Well, homie didn't have the camera on his Zoom, okay? But he's in the middle of making he's talking to the Supreme Court of the United States. Do you know, if you're a lawyer, how big this has got to be? Probably as big as Paul talking to Johnny Radio on Sports 56. You might get a little nervous, you know? So he's got his notepad out. He's ready to go. He's talking to the Supreme Court justices, just like Paul was talking to the great Johnny Radio. And he had to go, man. Oh.
How do you do that? That's a little for people that are not watching the streams. He's putting his hand under his armpit. I've never been able to do that. Like, how do you do that?
It's power, baby. It's old man power.
You learned that at a young age, man. You practiced that far too much.
I can do it with my leg too.
I don't want to. It's fine. You don't have to show me.
But anyway, thank you so much, Paul, for first person in 2020 to ever flush the flush on live radio. Oh, that
I'm
was
not
so
mad.
dope.
It's actually
I ain't
funny.
mad. That was awesome. Now to Sky Brown, because I've been bringing her up all day. She's 11 years old. She is a sensation. If you haven't seen her, I don't even know what you've been doing on like. If you've been on Twitter and you haven't seen Sky Brown, I don't know what you're watching on Twitter or who you're following, because I've seen more Sky Brown videos. She's one of like the most popular people that I see on those videos. This little girl skates in pools. I mean, she's like when I first started seeing her, she was like 7 years old. You know what I mean? She's 11 years old now. She literally landed a 1280 or whatever. You know what that is? It's dope, okay? Like Tony Hawk like doesn't do that kind of stuff, or does do that. He's the only other person that could do that kind of stuff. She did that. Well, this week she was trying yesterday she was trying a really awesome trick. Well, the trick went way wrong. She fractured her skull. She fractured her wrist. She broke her hand. She has a black eye. And guess what? she goes to the hospital, and she's like, I don't usually post my falls or talk about them, but this was my worst fall. And then she's like, and I just want everyone to know that I'm okay. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm just going to get back out there and push even harder. I'm just like, dude, you're so awesome. And then she even comes out and says the whole medical team is shocked to see her positivity. But, Tony Hawk tweets out, the whole medical team is shocked to see her positivity. Get well soon. And that's from Tony Hawk. But anyway, they were fearful for this little girl's life. And she's like, when I get out, I'm going to push even harder. Again, being young, that's when you got to learn everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you so fearless when you're young, Gabe? Really?
Because here's the thing. It's like when the oven's hot and you put your hand on the oven, right? You get burned, right? The first time, then you learn your lesson. I feel like you have to learn your lesson first. You think you're sort of, what's the word? Invincible, right? When you're young, and then you have to learn lesson after lesson to know your limits and your boundaries. But with her, I mean, she's just that good at her sport. So like she's always doing. Is that an extreme sport? We would call that an extreme sport.
I would call
she's
it
always
hella extreme sport.
Yeah, so she's constantly doing things like that, and I gotta imagine what happened. How hurt is she?
She fractured her skull, her wrist. I mean, she was hurt bad. Listen to this. It says from the medical, they were worried that she wasn't going to make it. Like, they literally thought she was going to die. And literally 3 hours after she's, like, having her skull put back together and getting all doctored up, she's putting out a positive message. She's just a sweet little girl. Follow Sky Brown. You will fall in love with her just like I've literally fallen flat out in love with this girl. Now, I also got to bring up this. Talk about love. Did y'all see what happened in the LA chaos? And again, for all you people out there, I am not for riots. I'm not for looting. I'm for peaceful protest. And I'm also for, the end of police brutality. I'm tired of, black and brown-skinned men getting murdered at an unrealistic rate. The way we police our people in this country is ridiculous. But also, we can't have rioting. We need peaceful protest. And just to let people know that the people who are actually out there doing the problem, I don't think are the people in that community. Again, Friday and Saturday, I was down there. I saw nothing but perfect from the police. They were absolute angels. The protesters were awesome. And then again, you look at LA, it looked like a war scene from a couple of those camera angles. But did you notice one thing? The Kobe Bryant mural, untouched amidst all the chaos. Still beautiful. You can look at it right here. As gorgeous as ever. The Kobe Bryant mural was untouched. And by the way, Vanessa, his wife, actually tweeted out, I drove by my husband's mural. Thank you so much to all you people for not vandalizing it. It is a gesture that I will always appreciate and never forget. I just thought that was really nice.
That is very nice. You can't do that right now. You can't touch a Kobe Bryant mural at this time.
Especially the
no
one
matter
with
what
the mama
is going
and
on in
Gigi.
the world. You can't do it.
Oh, dude, the one with Gigi and Kobe right here. Like, by the way, there's 3 big murals in LA that a lot of people are talking about. Not one of them was touched. Now, John Jones. Now, because I'm bad and I have to ask Gabe this question, because I got this, I think, wrong yesterday, and I want to make sure. There was a coke snorting, crazy UFC partying, can't pass a drug test guy. Was his last name Jones?
And his first name was John.
And it was John?
John Jones, yes.
So, okay. So
big partier. He's failed a lot of drug tests.
Okay,
a lot
so
of cocaine
just to
tests.
make sure I'm right about this, okay, the dude who loves, grams, and I'm not talking about,
DUIs as well.
Dewey's out the frame. Put it this way. I think his rap sheet's probably about as long as his wins-loss record. I mean, it's pretty bad from what I understand. But, again, one chapter in a person's life is not that whole story. There's other parts of people's lives. And right now, I got to say, man, I can't believe I'm going to give John Jones love on this show because I have lambasted him said, come on, son, you were going to get $10 million if you just could have, like, stopped Yayo for 2 days. I mean, it's only in your system for, like, 3 days, or there's 2 days, right? Like, I don't even think it's in there for, like,
Don't ask
3
me.
days.
I don't know.
I think you can
I'm
pass
not
the
a
drug
controlled
test.
substance
I'm not either,
specialist.
dude. I'm not either, but, I mean, I know if you smoke weed that you're screwed for a whole month. I know if you do, like, a little yay a couple days, you're going to be okay. I think that's what they say. If you smoke weed, you're screwed for a month. A little yay, and you're going to be okay.
Those people the other day that we were talking about kilos that did all the transitions for us, did all the math for us. I bet they'd know. I bet they'd know how long it stays in your system.
67129. Help me out. How long is it in your system? But he couldn't even pass those drug tests. I got a little bit frustrated with that. But I told you about him snatching the spray cans. Like, dude, by the way, just have to tell you, there's a video out that shows him 2 days ago. This dude is spray painting a wall of this business. And by the way, just so you know, it is a little white dude and, of course, this black hoodie and, like, a gas mask on. And he's like, give me your spray can. Kid reluctantly gives it to him. And there's, like, 5 other dudes. He's like, I wasn't speaking just to him. All y'all give me your spray cans. All 6 dudes ended up, like, going over there.
Yes, Mr. John Jones, sir.
Yes, Mr. Jones. They all
I'd
give
be
him,
terrified.
Dude, I would too, dude. Have you seen that guy? Especially, could you imagine
Have you
if
seen
he
him fight?
You wouldn't know.
Have
if
you
he
watched a
did bump.
UFC card with him on it?
Yes, but could you imagine if he did a bump before he ran into you?
His most recent one was against that Dominic Reyes guy, not so good. But
Chaos.
everything before that dude's I would not want to get in a fight with him.
Anyway, anytime John speaks to me, I'm just assuming he's a number 1, he's a UFC fighter and he could kill me, and number 2, whatever he says, I'm just going to do because I'm scared of him. But do you know what he's done? And I got it again. I tell you, a man's life is not written in one chapter. John Jones, yes, may have not been able to pass a few drug tests, may have ticked off Dana White in UFC, may have messed up a few times, got a couple Deweys, made some mistakes. I ain't going to, like, sit there and say the guy's perfect. I ain't calling him Jehovah. I'm calling him John Jones. But you know
I think there's a good transition right after this to another story about a chapters or not. You have other chapters to your life. Did you see what Floyd Mayweather did?
Yes, and I'm going to mention that you're so good. You are good. You know me too well. Well, John Jones came out, and there were a bunch of protesters, and it was getting ugly. And then you had some cops, and they had on their riot gear, and it was starting to get ugly, and they're going back and forth, and John Jones comes out. And by the way, it amazes me. That just shows leadership, by the way, and that we do need leadership in this country badly. He walks out and basically talks some crazy smack to both sides of them. Next thing you know, the police are taking off their riot gear. The rioters are stopped yelling and throwing bricks, and everybody circles up around him, and they have a prayer together. And he says, we come in peace, and talks to literally police officers and rioters. And if you see this, it will freak you out. And again, I wouldn't have believed it, but now 2 nights in a row, I have seen John Jones snatch spray cans from vandals and rioters, and then stand between cops and rioters and have them stop fighting and screaming at each other. And at the very end, after 30 minutes of him talking, come together and pray. Damn, again, you can't write a man's his life in one chapter. And I got to give John Jones some love for this.
Just shows how far leadership goes.
Leadership
really
goes a long way.
And then Floyd Mayweather.
Did you see, by the way, I'm going to start saying, the police officer in, it was New York City. Did you see him get down and also pray with those people? And then he took off his shield, his helmet, put down his baton. He grabbed an American flag, picked it up, and he started walking with the protesters down the street. Oh, I watched it. It was on TV yesterday. It was dope as hell. I was like, whoever this dude is, he needs to be leading some stuff, if you know what I'm saying. Because they had to fire that stupid Louisville chief who all of his officers didn't have on their body cams when they killed that innocent man. You know what I'm talking about, who owned he owned that business, man. I hate looking at my dadgum Twitter because I hate looking at sad stuff sometimes. But,
a lot to sort through right now.
There's a lot of
Twitter.
stuff to sort through. But anyway, what Gabe was talking about in the excellent transition is I hate. And I shouldn't say that word hate because especially in today's climate, the last thing in this world we need is hate. We need love more now than ever. In fact, we need to get rid of the word hate. It needs to it needs to get out of our vernacular, our vocabulary. It needs to quit being tossed around as easily as it has been for years. But I will say for years, Floyd Mayweather has definitely been one of those persons that I might have used that word. But he's paying for George Floyd's funeral. And I think that's what Gabe meant by the fact that you cannot
100%.
write this is a guy who's got a lot of faults. Floyd Mayweather has had a lot of problems, and we know about his issues with his ex-wife or his mother's child, et cetera, et cetera. But, again, you cannot write a man's book with one chapter. And by the way, if you're out there and maybe your chapter of life, it ain't looked all that right, you can turn it around right now, and you can write a new chapter. You just got to turn your life over and say, I'm going to be good to my fellow man. Seriously, it's as simple as that. Instead of hating my brother, I'm going to love my brother. Not just that brother or that brother, not brothers that look like me, but all my brothers and sisters, all of humanity. And I'm telling you, it can happen, and I have seen it. And I've seen people that I'd never in a million years would be out in these streets doing positive things. But if Floyd Mayweather is going to do something like that, if some of these people are going to come out and just give love that you never expect, like John Jones. Again, I thought John Jones would be doing a bag of Coke, running amok on the street and getting him a new Gucci bag. No, John Jones is out there talking to police officers and rioters, and he's telling them to stop the hate, and he gets them to take off their gear and literally circle up and pray for the country. Again, John Jones, somebody who I have lambasted. I tip my cap today. Dang, man. Floyd Mayweather, I have lambasted 1,000 times. I tip my cap today. And to the NBA, thanks for getting your stuff together. Other than James Dolan, y'all have handled this with utmost class. Continue to do it. We got one more segment before I hand it over to Wolo and Stats. Never forget my buddy at MemphisFarmers.com, Chad Gatlin on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Upgrade to luxury. Visit the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway at 385. Umansky Maserati and Alfa Romeo, Lincoln of Memphis, and Acura of Memphis. One convenient location for incredible brands. Ridgeway and 385. Come see the Italian race-inspired performance of the Stelvio and Ghibli, precision-crafted performance of the RDX and MDX, or the amazing new Aviator, Navigator, or Nautilus. Rates as low as 0%. Payments from $279. 90 days until your first payment at the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway and 385. Well qualified buyers. Offers cannot be combined.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted, animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
Ever wonder what a Blizzard treat on the new DQ Summer Blizzard menu sounds like? New Oreo cheesecake is Dad's DIY slip and slide. S'mores is a backyard campfire under the stars. And new Frosted Animal Cookie is a family band jam. Sounds like summer to me. The new DQ Summer Blizzard menu with more new flavors than ever. DQ. Happy tastes good.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
By the way, I am your pusher man. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm so happy, Johnny Radio. I brought in a huge bag. Not a weed, y'all chill out. Bag of pins. Like real pins.
Okay, John is the most notorious pin thief in
Ever.
America.
Once I quit
and not
smoking,
to mention, like, you're saying...
I used to be a lighter thief.
You're saying right now that these are your bag of pins, right?
Well, they're your bag.
I was going to say, this is
back.
like probably 95% everyone around the office's pins.
By the way, that's only one bag, because if I had another bag, I could.
If you are watching the stream on Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're watching it, look at the size of this bag of pins.
It's definitely a half-pound bag.
And this
of
is
pins.
not. This is more than a half pound, buddy.
It's a fat.
This is about
one.
2 pounds.
Yeah, that's a fat bag. I'm telling you, homie. I brought him back though. That's the thing is, I was thinking to myself, man, I can't get enough of these suckers. But when you know what's weird? I used to do that with lighters when I smoked. Once I quit smoking, I started stealing everybody's pins. It's not like I mean to do it either. They're accidental, but I definitely do it. Now, speaking of all the things that are going on in sports, I do have to say, is upset and worried, and not just upset, but literally scared to death for pro baseball. I tweeted some stuff out even this morning talking about, if baseball does not wake up, and if they honestly don't realize, like at the crossroads we are in 2020, we are in the middle of a pandemic. We have literally so many things. We are literally trying to figure out how we are going to stop all this injustice. We are trying to get back to, being a nation that heals. Sports are one of those things that no matter what you say, that is one of those fields that it feels like it's almost an even playing field at times, but it is a place where the country always seems to come back, even after 9/11, after almost anything. Sports is the place you come back to heal. With this pandemic, the country has not been able to come back and heal. This is up to baseball. I know basketball is putting their act together, but this isn't also on them. The boys of summer need to be on this. They need to get out on that field and give us baseball. And if they fight over money, it will be the end of baseball. And that's going to break me into a million little pieces. But I'm telling you, the young generation, they will forget about you. And my generation, they will never forgive you. So baseball, which I think they have come out today and said this. Their negotiations have not moved forward hardly at all, but they have. MLB's ownership and the National Baseball Players Association says the season is likely to happen without an agreement on games, percentage of payment, or any of that. We will continue to negotiate that throughout the season. Hopefully, we will have an answer sooner than later, but we need to be on the field, especially by July 4th. Could you say that any better? Because I agree unequivocally. It sounds like baseball, for the first damn time, understands the country actually needs your butt on the field.
It's bizarre that it took this long to get to this, though.
It is. And I thought Anthony Sane today, who was on, if you want to check out the podcast earlier, he said it at 1:30. The one game where social distancing is absolutely easiest has found it the hardest to get back and play for the American people, which need you. Again, that would be a dire situation for baseball. Don't let it happen. Give us our game. And for everybody out there, remember, I love you with all my heart. I know for a fact, from Gabe Kuhn to me, y'all promise you, every single one of you, y'all can get out there. You can make this world a better place. And I promise you, I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.